and 11th session will be, this is just for your information, that 10th session will be the concluding session, and 11th session will be the session for revision. We will touch upon each and everything once again for your benefit. Okay, so today's session, dear friends, is on simulation and in basket exercises. Okay, we will go to simulation method of learning in a short while. We will start with projective techniques. We will start with uh, we'll start by knowing what are the trainer competencies to make the learning very experiential and hands-on. There are quite a few challenges. Today's session will make you think more. So excuse me in advance in case I make you think a lot and you get drained out by the end of the session. But nonetheless, these thinking hats that I want to put on your heads is worth it, and it is really uh, um, with an intent to churn your inner trainer and make you more lively, or more, make the sessions more lively and make you more involved in the session. Can we begin?
Sure, sir.
Okay. All right. We have 17 participants. Okay. How was the last session? Any response? Anything that you want to say about the last session? Anything left out? Unanswered question?
So,
Anything
no,
that was anything that was unattended last class, last session? I hope all was well.
indeed, sir, it was very intriguing.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. We will begin this session with an exercise as usual. Uh, but before that, I want to know from you, uh, have you heard of these techniques or these methods called the in basket exercises, the projective techniques, behavior modeling? These are contemporary ways of training people. We understand this fact that all of us are different in the way we look, the way we think, the way we perceive, the way we look at things around us. We all are very different. Today's session, the first activity will make you understand or give you an evidence that we are actually different. Are we all ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So here is the first exercise for all of you. I'll be sharing the screen now, and there's a slide. This slide will have a picture in it, will have an image in it. All of you will have to write down what idea do you get, or what thought do you get, or what meaning do you get out of this image. And you will have to tell me what did you think or what idea did you get after looking at this image. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I hope my screen is visible to you now.
Ji, sir.
Okay, just have a look at this.
आ रहा हूँ आ रहा हूँ
Just have a look at this and jot down whatever comes to your mind, or you can also write what appears to your mind. And this is an individual task to be done. Are we all connected? Please go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
So we are trying to understand what it is actually.
Yeah, please take your time. Please take your time.
So there are multiple things that are
Yes.
visible.
Sir, there are multiple animals like dogs, ants, birds.
Yeah. I want you to just jot down the ideas that come to your mind. Please jot down. Please write down. Please jot down.
Sir, I think you want us to really write down the first thing that
Yes.
comes to our mind.
Yes. It could even be the second thing. It could even be the third thing. So start with the sequence. What
Okay.
appears. Are you getting along? Are you progressing?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Please try. Please try.
Done, sir. Yeah.
Done? Okay. Should I stop sharing? Can I stop sharing so that we can get your views?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll come back to the main screen. Okay. Can you share uh, individually now? What did you get? What did you think? Okay, Jaspreet has raised her hand.
So, at first glance, I was able to visualize a dog face,
No.
and then birds and many more animals,
Clustered. I
shadow
mean,
kind of, clustered together, but I was not able to then aggregate them.
okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. Next, Sukriji.
It's a man with a mustache. The eyes shaped of leaves. The shape of leaves.
Okay. Okay. That's nice. Okay. Kavita.
So from one angle, it looks like a man with a mustache, but it also looks like a mouse with the whiskers. And
Okay.
from another angle, it looks like two flamingos, the
Okay.
shadows of tree, animals.
Okay. Good. Good.
So may I?
Yes, please.
The moment I looked at the picture, it was entirely vague with black spots to me. And
Okay.
the moment I started spending time to understand it, I could realize some butterflies making poses. Third step was I could see various creatures. Then and forgiving my letting go my previous all those ideas, then it was displaying a human face to me at last.
Okay. Okay.
Sir, may
So
I?
may I?
Yes. Everybody will get a chance. Everybody will get a chance.
Yeah.
Who's the next one?
So this is Bhupinder Singh.
Bhupinder. Yes.
Initially, first I saw it was a cat face, then a character called as Predator. I could see
Okay.
that Predator character, and then a skeleton. At the
Okay.
last, I had seen a human face with a mustache.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhupinder ji. Thank you. Animesh?
Sir, may I?
Yeah, Prem Shankar ji. Yes.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
At the first instance, I visualize it as a human face. I first visualize the two eyes, and by the side of the two eyes, even the eyebrows are tried to be made. It seems like the ink has dropped on the page, so somebody has tried to sketch it in the form of a human face. I could find a mustache, and the mouth of the person is open. Even I can visualize image of a tongue also inside that. And at the head, it seems like someone has tried to create a hat, old kind of traditional hat. That's it, sir.
Good. Thank you, ji. Anybody? Who's the next one?
Sir, Animesh.
Animesh. Yes. Quickly. Yeah.
Just
Animesh,
just-
okay, you carry on in that case.
yeah,
That's
no
okay.
problem. I'll just take told it was my face, a man with a like beard.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so shall I now, sir?
Yeah. Yes.
So in the beginning, I saw two butterflies on both sides, then
Yes.
a dog's face, then at the bottom, it looks like a beetle bee to me, beetle bug. And then
Little,
when I
little.
saw the picture comprehensively, it looks like a man's, or rather a clown's face with mustache and two ribbons on the top. So that was the imagination. Yep. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Who's the next one to?
Sir Rohit,
Yes, Boli, please.
sir, a very uncommon shape of a human face, rather like a man face with cat ears and a bunch of hairs on top of it. Then, of course, big mustaches, like very untidy, long ones.
Okay. Okay. Done. 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 Thank you. Thank you. Are we done with everyone willing to participate? Thank you so much for your responses. This is a clear indication that all of us are different in many ways, and all of us are similar in some ways. Do you all agree to this? What is one common point that was repeating in everybody's view?
Man's
Man
face.
Mustache
Man's
with
face.
mustache.
This
No,
mustache was uh,
mustache.
mustache factor was repeating, I believe.
Human face or a man face.
That was also quite
Yes.
repetitive. Does it indicate to all of you that we are different in many ways and similar in some ways? Agree?
Yes, sir.
Right, sir.
yes, sir.
Right. Now, I will replace this slide with a training topic. Imagine this image, this weird ink blot image that I had depicted to you is now being given to you as a training topic for training. Okay. Some of us think that it is a technical training. Some of us think that it is a behavioral training. Some of us think that, or may think that it is irrelevant training. Okay. Now, this is how trainers are diversified in their thoughts, in their ideas, in their suggestions, in their views. Okay. The more we spend time on it, we start getting clarity. Agree?
Yes,
So
sir.
there is this process of unlearning, learning, and relearning that occurs in at different time intervals. Some of us get this image very quickly. Some of us interpret this image quite late. So it depends on the time factor. Agree with me? The more time you spend, the more idea you get, the more thoughts you get. Now, suppose I give you a very difficult task now. Uh, Imagine this is a task that I want to give to all of you. Take this image to the primary schools around you in your proximity. Using this image, train the school students. I know it is very vague. I know that. What would be your approach? I have nothing more to give you. I will give you only this slide. And the task to all of you is go to the nearest primary school, or even it could even be a high school. Train the school students using this image only. What approach will you have? What approach will you take up? I know it's vague. I know there are lack of resources. There is lack of clarity. Yes, I know that.
I think, sir, we can go for teaching the point of view method. How
Okay.
one thing can be viewed from the various
Yes.
perspective. How
Yes.
one can have different intelligence level. How one can interpret from the different cultural perspective, age
Yes.
perspective, gender perspective. This is what I view, sir.
You're right. You're right. Thank you for that answer. You're right.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Just to add, we can utilize that in the behavioral training for
Yes.
these students.
All of us are different in our behaviors. And remember one thing, all of us are trainers in the domain of social science. what we are doing now, the space that we are in is called as social science. Okay, this is not engineering, this is social science. So one of the advantages or one of the fundas in social sciences, nothing is wrong.
So
It's
may I ask
just a
something?
perspective. It is just a perspective. Yes, yes, Jasprit.
Yeah, sir, we can use this for bullying also in schools. Bullying is
Possible.
so we can
Maybe
show
true.
that we all are different in one way or another. So we
So
should
don't
treat.
be involved in bullying and don't be
Yes,
involved in maybe body shaming
yes.
or probably ragging or, or torturing or something of this kind. Yes, you can. Yes, you understand how we are evolving with limited resources. The more we spend time on something, the better we get at ideas. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
All right. The next exercise that, yeah, yeah, anybody else with another view?
Sir, hello.
Yes, yes, boliye.
Yeah, good afternoon, Krishna Kumar Jha, sir.
Yeah, boliye.
Sir, in fact,
Please tell.
the task that you gave now,
Yes.
using this picture,
Yes.
what training, in fact, can be imparted to school
Yes.
kid or grown up
Yes.
persons?
Yes.
So, in fact, one response has already come, but at the
Yes.
same time, do you want to hear something else, or the
Yes.
training approach that we will take?
Why not?
Okay. So as in fact Jaspreet has said, in fact this tool can be utilized, one for learning or training purposes. The second one is teaching some in fact not to do something kind of a thing. And the third one is definitely a cognitive aspect of our learning that also can be also be utilized.
Yes.
Ultimately, it depends that what my priority is to drive message.
Yes. How do you look at this picture
Yes.
first? And how do you gather your thoughts? How do you collect your thoughts? How do you gather your thoughts? And how do you make a story out of it? How do you make a conclusion out of it? And how do you make some meaning out of it? So that is that is one quality that all of us must have as a trainer. So if something is given to us, we should spend time on it. We should visualize, we should improve, and or we should deploy our cognitive skills to decipher the situation or interpret the situation first, and then use training techniques, training tools accordingly. That is why this exercise was given to you.
Right, sir. Right. In fact, I think I got it rightly. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
For
So
conflict resolution, we can also use this slide.
yes, yes, you can.
That
So
will
also,
It's more of uh, intrapersonal conflict when we have two minds clashing against each other, or two sides in our own mind clashing against each other. What happens to us? We don't get a clear idea. We are all messed up in our own mind. So that can also be, like you said, conflict management. It can even be interpersonal conflict. Yes.
yeah.
also, sir, I have a view.
Yes, please.
So 7 to 14 years is is considered as formative years of growing, right? So any type of skills can be really developed. So talking about persuasion skills, and conviction skills,
Yes.
the image can be used wherein one has a particular perception about it, and it is to do with convincing the other person also
Yes. Yes.
that this persuasion is correct. So, you can have such kind of, skills
Yes. So
developed.
this is to exert some pressure on cognitive skills or the interpretation skills. How do you interpret something? So it's more of cognitive ability, cognitive ability development. Am I right?
Yes, sir. There are skills that we already have. It's more to do with upskilling in a way. So if you realize this could be in a set where we're talking about upskilling the existing skills of these
Yes.
children.
How do you look at the current situation in a different way?
Yeah.
That could also be.
Yes, sir. It's completely, because see, we are talking about kids here wherein they will need persuasion the moment they reach into college for different reasons. So it
Yes.
could be started in their education years only. When they're actually in the school environment.
Yes. Yes. I agree with you. And please note, all the participants here, there are various areas to explore and become trainers in. You could be a trainer for school students, college students, You could even be trainers for NGOs. You could even be trainers for corporate. So please look at things differently. Try and introspect and try and realize where could I fit. Okay, so that is why I'm giving you these different perspectives. Okay, let's go to the next exercise. Can we move on?
Sure, sir.
Okay, before we move on to the next question, I have next exercise, I have a question to ask. Have you faced a situation where you feel things are unconnected, things are not related? For instance, you go to uh, an automobile showroom, right? And somebody talks about agriculture. You feel that this is not the space to talk about agriculture. Have you felt any time that you are an IT employee and you have been asked to talk about poverty? Things sound irrelevant. Or have you felt a situation, or have you felt any time that you have been given with a task where the ancillaries around or the accessories around this are totally unrelated? Have you felt a situation anytime?
Yeah, in fact, yes.
Does that happen? Does that happen?
Yeah. In fact, sir, it often happens when we are brainstorming something. In fact, some guy will come up with something which is not at all relevant to the topic that we are discussing. Sometimes in a senior manager kind of a meeting, where suppose we are dwelling on some important aspect, and one person will bring an entire different kind of discussion.
Yes.
These two places I have experienced.
Anybody else? Yes, Sukriji.
This primarily occurs in situations wherein you're trying to explain something, explain a point, and you draw an analogy with something else. So there are most of the time you draw an analogy of. There are times I used to use in team meetings like even a contributor of 1 run or a 2 run is a great great contributor, because you might lose a match with 1 run. So
Yes.
trying to emphasize a point that every member of the team is important, not that every time you have to score high runs, but the team bonding or the team thing. So the analogy
team
that you
culture,
draw,
collective effort, collective pride,
absolutely,
all that matters.
Yeah. So this is one. So there are many times we have received analogies which are completely different to drive a point on a corporate scenario. So I think, and the common analogy that happens, I think, which is where books are also written, which most of us must have read it, is the analogy of armed forces with corporate strategy. I think that's the most common. You talk about guerrilla warfare. You talk about
Now it's percolating. It's leaching down. The army techniques, army strategies are now leaching on to almost every field, the corporate field, academic field. Yeah.
So I think that's the kind of analogy. At times it seems when you start this story, somebody starts the story, it starts looking at something different, and when you arrive at the final conclusion, then you find a correlation between what is being said. That's what I faced.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, Manjuji.
Yes, sir. Though I couldn't recollect any such situations, but yes, I had couple of people in my life at my workplaces who usually used to start such topics in between any other topic which were not relevant. And we used to say that इनका हमेशा का इनको समझ नहीं आता, और they deliberately try to do this.
Okay. Yes. It happens. Okay. So suppose you're training a bunch of trainees, right? Is it a prerequisite skill for a trainer to make irrelevant things relevant? Is it a prerequisite quality for a trainer to possess to make irrelevant things very relevant? In fact, connect the unconnected.
Yes, it is.
Yes, I believe.
Yes, sir. Sometimes we have to
Yes, sir.
like connect the irrelevant into relevant for training
But not
purpose.
Yes,
always.
correct. Yeah, not always, but then see, you don't know what kind of training assignment will be given to you. One. Second, you may have to break the convention and train people on new things, or and
Yes.
make them enter new space. Then you will have to break the tradition, break the convention, and go ahead. Agree? Because market is uncertain. There is always this cloud of uncertainty that hovers around. So you'll have to break the unconventional clouds. The next exercise is something to do with this. I know it. I know it's what do I say? It's challenging. But then the next exercise that we will be moving on to will test your ability to relate things. Okay. So let me present it for you. And I'll tell you what is to be done. Okay. I'll tell you what is to be done. Let me go for the presentation mode. 1 minute.
Would request Priya to mute, please. Priya, if you're hearing, please mute yourself.
Okay, this is already done. Yeah, this is the next exercise that we will be working on. This is called as Idea Connect exercise. You will find 6 images here. And what I want to do, and what I want all of you to do is just have a look at this slide first. You will definitely find a lot of irrelevance, right? Now, you will have to draft a story. You will have to, this is an individual exercise. You will have to draft a story or a meaningful article or a meaningful message by connecting all these images. I know it's irrelevant. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
There is
sir.
a parrot perching on a tiny twig. Then there is this USB drive or the pen drive, and then there is a sprawling farmland, and then there is this club culture, youngsters dancing and making merry, and then there is a logo depicting different spots, and then there is a hut at the foothills of mountain. You could even take it as temple, you could take it as a hut. So this is something about uh, the images that are before you. Can you do this? You have 10 minutes to, or you can take even 12 minutes to draft a story or a
Then we can
meaningful
start.
article. Sorry?
We can start from any image.
Yeah, you can start with any image. So
Okay.
there is no sequence as such, but then essentially in your story, in your article, in your write-up, you must include all these images. Sequence is left to you. That's your discretion. Am I clear in giving out the instructions?
Yes, sir.
Very clear.
All right, please do that. You have 12 minutes to work on this exercise. I'm sure you will have to wear different thinking hats. Please wear. So connect the unconnected.
Done, sir.
Done? Okay.
Yeah, done, sir.
Complete, sir.
Okay, done. We will wait for 2 more minutes for others to complete. Sorry, there was some technical glitch from my end, so the connection was lost. Are we back now?
Yes, sir. Can we start, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please share your piece of work,
Okay, sir.
your story,
So,
your yes.
Jasprit, this side, sir. So, here my story goes. Once me and my friend, I'm audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So, once me and my friends were traveling to Dharamshala, we were at a very beautiful scene which has a hut and greenery. So, there was a local person who told us that, nearby there are very beautiful green fields. So, if you are here, you should not miss that. So, we went there and were really happy to see that greenery and we were enjoying that. We were clicking pictures. So, at the same time, I got a call that I'm selected for state level badmintonship. So I was so happy that I was waiting for this call for so long, and I got that call. So they said that you need to play it, the matches on like 2-3 days after. So before that, you need to record your journey till here, like how you started, from what age you started playing, and from where you were taking the trainings and all. So you need to record it in a like your journey for 2 minutes in a pen drive and send us to us. So while I was doing that, my friend said this call for a party. So you are selected and you're waiting for it. So the same day we went for that club thing and we were enjoying and partying there. So I forgot to inform my mom. So when I realized that I should share with the family, so my mom said, "Oh my God, I can't believe this, that a parrot, which we have as a pet, has predicted this early morning. I thought that I will share with you like when you will reach home, so that if you are not selected, you will not feel bad." So I'm really surprised that you are selected and parrot has predicted this in this morning only. So that is my story, sir.
Very beautifully crafted and connected. Good.
Thank you,
Good.
sir.
Yes,
Good.
a nice one indeed. So may
Good.
I try it now?
Yes. Yes. Please try. Please try.
So Shipra this side. So my story goes like
Shipra,
this. A group of youngsters or friends decided to go to mountains and they started their journey from Delhi to Manali. On the way, there were farmlands where they got down from their car and clicked pictures with the scenic beauty. And there they found a parrot also on the small twig, which they clicked in their with their cameras. So thereafter, they continued their journey to Manali. They went to the resort and then started exploring the place. They visited the Hidimba temple and enjoyed the view of mountains and the serenity. As the darkness was growing, they moved back to the resort where the party was organized, and they all danced on the floor. The songs were boring, so a guy shared his pen drive and gave it to the DJ player and asked him to play his music. They all enjoyed thoroughly. While coming back the next day, they found a hoarding depicting different sports which were about to begin in a week's time. So although they were coming back, but they were having this thing that if they can stretch their stay and enjoy and participate in that sports too, but that couldn't happen because they had to came back. But the trip
Thank you.
was amazing. Thank you.
Very nice. Nicely connected again. Nicely connected.
Hey,
Good.
Rupali, can I?
Yeah, Rupali. Yes.
Today we live in the world of pop culture, not just urban and but even much rural population is attracted to Western culture and pursue to live a life of pop culture or Western culture. The generation which is longing for switch of culture have not experienced the different games played in the open fields. They do not experience the fields and mountains which gave us the breezy air and eye-soothing views. The birds and animals which came to our small houses to share our food with us. It is our responsibility to make them experience this either by getting them to such places, making them play at the activities we did, or by storing our memories using different technologies and presenting or forwarding them through the network, social networking, which will make them realize. That's it.
Thank you. Nicely connected. This is really getting interesting when everyone participates. Yeah,
So may I
there's a lot
Animesh
of
here?
one minute. There's a
டேய்
lot of disturb.
அக்ஷித் இது எப்படி தெரியுமா கத்துக்கணும் அனாட்டமி எப்படி தெரியுமா கத்துக்கணும்
Karthik,
டயக்ராம் போட்டு
Karthik ji, Karthik.
Please mute yourself, Karthik.
Yeah, Dr. Shipra. Yeah, Dr. Shipra. Yes, your story was also nice. This is getting interesting when everyone unfolds their creativity. It the whole landscape gets very creative. So that this is going good. Who's the next one?
May I Animesh here?
Okay, Anyways, yes. Next.
Yes, so
Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, so this is a report as submitted through a pen drive to the ministry, and this is a report after there was a attempt by some private organization along with the government officials that they wanted to have a kind of a natural playground set up for the lawn sports where like hockey, football, lawn tennis and all. So so that all started with by creating a small observatory amidst the foothills, which overlooked a flat line, but there were a lot of trees in it. But of course, there were some green grasses as well, long stretches of that. So they started the research in that observatory, in that room, in that place, and then they decided to cut a lot of trees, and that resulted in the migration of the birds like parrots and other birds as seen in the picture. And they did create the the sport field for various sports around, but then only the rich could afford it. And though initially there was a good response and people did came, sports persons, but eventually it led to just the rich coming there and partying as seen in the picture. So that's how it resulted. And this report was finally submitted to the ministry that this is how it ended as a form of a USB drive.
Yes. Good. This is a dossier or a report sort of structure that is followed. Good.
Can I go in?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Can I go
Sukrit ji.
next?
Yes, Sukrit ji, please.
The title is Weekend Well Spent. We decided to go for an outing to a village in the hills. The drive down was through a sprawling green area full of coconut trees and rice fields. As we were going up the hills, I decided to do a bit of bird watching, and the parrot took my breath away. As we reached the village, the scenic beauty just mesmerized us. The small hut was so cozy. We spent the night at a village resort and partied. My daughter drew a picture of different sports available at the resort. All these are captured in the camera and stored in the USB as memories. This is a gift for all of you since you all could not make it to the trip.
Good. Thank you. So you've virtually taken them to the trip. So thank you for saving money, our money. Thank you. That's nice.
Could I go next?
Yeah, Famida. Yes, Famida. If you could start your camera, we will be well connected.
So I apparently have a little issues with my cam, so my
Okay,
apologies.
all right,
So,
all right.
the story goes, from the fields of Kerala, there was Shivmurthi's youngest son Ram. He was an athlete and played state level football. Basis his recent match, he was selected in Mumbai's football club. He was charming and had a talking parrot. As he missed most of his lectures, he recorded them on his pen drive. Basis his outstanding performance recently, his mates decided to fail him in the recent drug test. They took him to the house in the mountains, and while partying, they heavily drugged him. A dream was lost just out of jealousy.
Yes, this is a story when things go haywire, things go out of control. Yes, an awakening story. Thank you so much for that.
Can I go next, sir?
Yes, yes, Dr. Yes.
Sir, my story is like there was a farmer who was living in his farmland in his hut. He was devoted his full time, his entire life in researching on the new agricultural methods. One day he went in the nearby forest and he saw a parrot on a branch of a tree. The parrot was so beautiful, so he thought to capture the parrot, but he found himself unable to climb the tree or jump and catch the parrot. So he thought he need to learn some sports activities. So he started devoting himself towards playing badminton, footballs, and he realized that he's too good in playing badminton. So he also started participating in various events. And in one of the national level games, he got a gold medal. And he also recorded all those events, his play in a pen drive, and brought back home and shown the same to his friends. So all of them started celebrating that event. They started dancing. They enjoyed. That's it about my story.
Yes, thank you. A common story that is applicable to all of us. Yes, it does happen, especially by the in the lives of rural people. So the rural outreach is something that you have stressed on. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, sir.
May I?
Yeah,
Can I
please.
say?
Yeah,
1 minute. Kajal, yeah, Kajal. Next.
thank you, sir. After the COVID catastrophe, I feel like a party and the music and dance could bring me the happiness. Because at that time, our lives were like a parrot in a cage. Soon after, I came to realize that this party cannot bring me the inner serenity, what exactly I was wondering. So I turned to the games, which made me happy, but it didn't bring that calm, what I wanted. During the COVID, I worked in cultivation and agriculture for during that timing, and that paddy field, and build a herd there. And right now, I moved to that field and stay there. And I recorded all my journey in my pen drive, so I can show it to my grandchildren, and they can learn from it.
Thank you, thank you. So, life after COVID is something that you have highlighted. Thank you so much for that. Yes, Nilanjan.
Yes, sir.
Please go
So
ahead.
my story goes like this: that I am a retired public sector servant, and after retirement, I have got some good corpus of money from my provident fund. So I am now settled in Ranikhet. One day, my farmer who was doing farming in my farmhouse, he said कि साहब कोई आ रहा है लगता है. So there is a group of youngsters who came. So it happened to be my grandson and granddaughter. They came with their friend to my house, and I have a parrot. In the evening they said, दादाजी यहाँ तो करने के लिए there is nothing happening here, कुछ करने के लिए है नहीं. तो पैरट ने बोला कि सामने पेन ड्राइव है और यू कैन डांस. एंड पैरट सेड कि जहाँ डाल डाल पे सोने की चिड़िया करती है बसेरा, पहले इसी गाने से डांस करना है. So this is what happened in this, in this all 4-5 picture which was
nice,
there.
Nice. Thank you. Very nice.
Can I say?
Sir, Mary Wari.
Yeah,
Can I?
Nisha Khan.
Manju can start.
Yeah, Manju will come to Manju little later. I mean,
sir,
after Nisha
sir,
will.
sorry to interrupt, sir. एक एक करके सब मेरा आइडिया ले रहे हैं. मेरे को कुछ नहीं बचेगा तो मैं कुछ नहीं कह पाऊंगा. बाद में आप मत डांटिएगा मेरे को.
For what, sir?
एक एक करके आइडिया सबको ही बोल दे रहे हैं, मेरे पास कुछ रह ही नहीं रहा, मैं ये सोच रहा हूँ तो वो बोल दे रहे हैं.
No, in fact, I have told you as a disclaimer or an opening statement that the creativity index or the creativity question will be unraveled, explored today. So it's
Okay,
I have to
on a lighter sense.
yeah, I know. Even I am on the same note. Okay, Nisha, you are there to explain or to express your story. Okay, if Nisha isn't there, so the turn goes to Manju.
Thank you, sir.
We'll be happy if you start your camera so that
Sir,
we want the
here is a
storyteller.
suspense. Yes, I am a storyteller, but behind the camera.
Okay.
So
So
that you could go travel through my story.
yes, we will travel. We will travel through
So,
your voice.
sure, sir. My
Yeah.
story goes like this, that I was traveling for one of my training program, and I was in bus, and I found that there is a pen drive lying on my seat, right? The seat which was allocated to me, because I was going for a training program. So I had my laptop, so I thought of to why not to check this pen drive, because nobody is around, so let us see what is there in the pen drive. But when I plugged in this pen drive to my laptop, I could see these 6 images in my laptop on in that pen drive, and with a note that if you will return this pen drive to me, I will fulfill your wishes throughout life. And I got curious, and I started solving this puzzle. As I starting with this parrot, I could realize that, and that person also had written that I'm sitting in this bus only. You just come to me once you could know the answer, and I'll do the things for you. So what I could realize is that man must be wearing the green, man or woman must be wearing the green, getting out from the parrot, and from club and dance, there must be something musical instrument or something related to music with that person, right? And uh, from that agricultural point of view, maybe that person is dressed up in a farmer suit or something related to agriculture. I was making down my notes and trying to figure out how exactly this man looks. And there was a temple or hut kind of image. So I could realize that man or woman should be religious. So there must be something, he or she must be wearing something which shows his religious beliefs.
Side. Yes.
And last one is sports. So let us see about sports. Maybe he is wearing sport dresses and sport shoes or something. He must be carrying some sport instrument. So I could realize it took 5 to 10 minutes to grab all those things. I stood up and looked at back, though at those passengers sitting, and I could spot a person. And I was sure that it was the same, because that person was wearing green shirt with headphones, which was depicting music. He was dressed up dhoti kurta as a farmer agriculture. He was wearing that tika on his forehead, and he was wearing sport shoes. And I was sure that this is the same man. I went there. I asked him to just, uh, are you the man? And to my surprise, it was my dad.
That's
And
good.
he
That's
said,
good.
yeah. And he said that, Manju, because we are not able to meet during your so many travels for your training purposes. So I thought of this is the good idea to see you during your travel time, because you hardly give time to me. And
Good.
he said that because you could spot me, I'll make every dream of yours come true in your life.
Good. That's nice. That's nice. Very nicely
Can
done.
can
May
I,
I
sir?
say?
Can
Yeah.
I, sir?
Yeah. Nisha,
Yes,
are
sir.
you ready? You had raised
Yeah,
your
I'm
hand.
ready, sir. My camera was misbehaving earlier.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. So my story starts with a huge round of applause. Everyone is clapping, and there is this sports person, maybe a hockey player. He's a winner, and he has won a trophy. There is a big reward and recognition function going on, and he has received the trophy. And then the party goes on. The वो जो logo depict था, logo का picture था ना sir, that logo, it begins with that clap, and then the logo appears, and then the party is shown wherein the person is receiving the trophy. The protagonist is Arun Verma. So Arun is receiving a trophy for his what do you say, for winning the game. He is a brilliant hockey player. So he receives the trophy and he parties with his friends and all, and he has a very nice time. सब party होने के बाद he goes back to his room. When he goes back to his room and he sits silently, and window पे एक parrot appears. वो तोते को देख के, उस परिंदे को देख के उसे फीलिंग आती है, like he gets nostalgic about his native place. वो सोचता है अपने देश के बारे में, and he thinks about from where he has come all over here. He thinks about his journey, he thinks about his origin, he thinks about his parents. वो गांव सोचता है, अपने गांव का घर सोचता है, खेत खलियान सोचता है, सारी चीजों वो बहुत ज्यादा जब उस चीज में पड़ता है, he goes and searches for his pen drive निकालता है, लैपटॉप में कनेक्ट करता है, and he goes back to all the images जो उसके दिल के बहुत करीब है, उन सबको देखता है और अपने लोगों को याद करता है, and he misses them a lot. So the story is ki that person getting nostalgic about after receiving the award and after winning, after succeeding, he wants to go back to his native place and celebrate with his family and friends. तो वो सारी चीजें उसके दिमाग में आती है. तो मेरी स्टोरी का टाइटल है कि वक्त के पन्ने पलटकर जीने को जी चाहता है.
Very nice, very nice. In fact, life is all about memories, friends, society, living around, recalling memories, getting nostalgic. So life is all about this, right? How long can we run behind money? How long can we sustain corporate pressure? So we need something to unwind from the
तो
routine.
वही he can relate with that parrot as वो परिंदा भी अपनी जगह नहीं है, उड़ के कहीं और आया है, बिल्कुल उसी की तरह जैसे वो उसके देश से कहीं और आया है in order to succeed in life. So वो parrot बहुत ही important ये है.
Yeah, important character in the story. Important character in
Yeah.
the story. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Anybody else left with? We're left with.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Kunal.
Make it also, please.
Kunal, sir.
Okay. Please
Shahid.
go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, Kunal, sir.
Yeah, Kunalji, go ahead.
So this story is about a wrestler. So he had gone for the Olympics and in the foreign lands, and after coming, he had a gold medal with him, and of course he had lot to celebrate also. But at the same time, he was thinking, no, I need to go to my village itself. And on the way, so he started his journey from the for the first time he had went to onto a foreign land. So after returning, he had clicked many of the pics as well at that time also. And while returning back also, when he landed at the airport he clicked pics. Then with the fans he clicked pic, because it was just like from the rural village, he was the first person to have a gold medal, and then returning back to his village back again. So when he was returning back, he when he was from Haryana. So in between he had many of the village types, and people were congratulating him wherever he was going, then in the bus itself. So when he landed at his place also, so there was when he came to home, and of course he clicked pics as well. At that time also there was a parrot also, and who congratulated him in a very good style, जो कि उसके फैमिली ने बना के रखा था वो पैरेट के लिए. एंड he loved the parrot so much, and his family also, he took the blessings. And after all that, the villagers they started saying कि नहीं, हम लोग we will do the party as the city people do. So they had arranged a DJ and all for the party, and so they celebrated also, and then he again took back to training.
Nice one. Applicable to majority of the workers who want to spend their time away from their usual settings. So thank you for that. Next is Usha ji, and then Kavita, and then we'll wind up. Okay, and we will
Yeah.
take the summary from this exercise.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Usha ji. Yeah.
Uh, Sir, I am a camera woman. I love to shoot only natural surroundings. I used to shoot the foothills, and I usually shoot everything, record in my pen drive, and I use OS, that is Parrot. Parrot operating system only I use. When I went to a party, suddenly I was offered to cover a live sports event. I said, I don't know about live display or live recording, but that was a good opportunity. I accepted it. I came out of my Parrot OS, and then I started doing live streaming also.
Good, good. So this reflects your aspirations. So good. Oh, thank you, Usha ji. Next, Kavita.
So mine is a very short story. Pardon me
Yeah.
for keeping my camera off.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very short story. Once there was a parrot, a very beautiful parrot who lived on a tree, and there weren't too many trees around, and it was pretty much open space, very beautiful, lush green fields. Uh, there was a lot of silence. There was a lot of bliss. There was absolute harmony. But then the parrot started feeling pretty lonely. So the parrot decided to explore the world. So the parrot started flying far and wide, and finally bumped into a city, probably where there were a group of youngsters and there was a lot of music, dance. They all appeared to be super happy and celebrating. So the parrot decided to land down and strike a conversation with one of them. So for the parrot, it was like an out of the world. The parrot had seen nothing like it ever before. So upon conversing with one of them, the parrot was like, what's the source of this music? Who is actually singing? Are you guys singing along as you dance? What's really going on? So then the the people out there showed the pen drive and said, we happen to create a playlist in this pen drive and we just play it. And there is this machine which just plays and we simply groove to it. But then the parrot, upon watching closely, asks whether you guys are really happy that you're celebrating. Uh, then the people say that no, actually, we all are very lonely. There's a lot of noise inside of us. To silent and quieten that, we create this so-called superficial, sound and music around to quieten it. And then the people started asking about, asking the parrot, tell me more about your world. What is it like to live? Where are you from? Where do you live? You don't seem to be a bird from this place. Then the parrot explains and says that, yeah, I come from such a beautiful land where, it talks about its world. But then the parrot again gets very inquisitive and asks, what do you really do to enjoy life other than this, partying and clubbing? Then they introduce to sports that come, I'll show you. Then they talk about all sort of sports like badminton, cricket, football, and all these things that we play to really enjoy. But then the parrot says, I don't think this is like a game or a play as a play. This seems more again like a result oriented, a performance oriented, thing. But why are you so confined to such small spaces? Why don't you come to my world? I'll show you what life is. So then they all decide to go along with the parrot to its world, and then they are so they're just so amazed and very fascinated by the open spaces and the real beauty of nature. Then they decide that how about we unifying the best of the two worlds? So how about we, starting to live here? Then they built a beautiful villa or a cottage right there amidst the foothills of the mountain, wherein they continue to sing and dance and play in the open fields. And the parrot also gets company, and they all happily live ever after. That's it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Seeing the world through the eyes of a parrot is something that you have narrated. That's very nice. Thank you so much, all of you. I request all of you to give a big round of applause to each one of you here. Clap for yourself. Every story was worth listening. Every story was worth listening, and it was able to bring out something. Uh, what seemed to be unconnected is now connected. Am I right? So what
Yes.
is the lesson that we learn from this, okay, exercise? You see, when we go out there to train a bunch of trainees or a bunch of learners, one thing is very apparent, very clear, very sure, that the trainees are different. The trainees are diversified. They come from diversified culture, educational background, and ideologies are different. Okay, like what looked very very unconnected when we get the image first, and then slowly we started developing some connect. We we were able to find that yes, things are really connected, the world is really connected. So the first thing, my request to all of you, dear participants, dear learners, is try and have a connect amidst diversity. Now, what do I mean by diversity? The topics given to you could be diverse. Trainees allocated to you could be diverse, could be different. But then there will be similarities. It is the quality, the ability of the trainer to connect the unconnected. How you do it, it is just what you have done now. How do you connect the things? It is the way that you have done now, in the form of a story, article, imagination, or projection. You make some projections, you assume yourself in that place, you make somebody the main character. So this is one trait that all of us must understand. We have to connect the diversified culture, diversified ideologies of our trainees. Everybody should feel connected. Nobody should feel isolated, left out, untouched. Okay, this is one thing. Second thing, uh, there is a possibility that you could become a cross domain trainer. Suppose you are a behavioral trainer, you could be given a task to train on some other aspect which is not your regular domain. So this exercise should help you to connect with cross domains or different domains, become a diversified trainer. The idea is very simple: find the commonalities, or in other words, see how the world is connected. Everything is connected. For instance, if tigers disappear in the forest, we will not be able to eat food. There is a huge connection. There is a very, very intricate, sublime, unconnected connect. Oh, sorry, unseen connect. I'm sorry, unseen connect. So if birds appear from the forest, if bees disappear, we will not be able to eat food. The world is actually a big circle, a big loop, where every stakeholder, every important component is actually connected. It's our duty to do a bit of research. It's our duty to put in our minds. It's our ability to see that connect and then try to make everything connected. If you speak unconnected, then your training becomes irrelevant. If you assume that things are unconnected, your training becomes irrelevant, unacceptable. Am I right? So
Yes, yes.
this was just a demonstration to tell you that whenever you go out there to conduct a training program, don't presume that things are not connected. There is some connection. Spend some time, buy some time, have connecting stories, have commonalities, have connecting threads, and stitch together a wonderful training program. Okay. Now, this is something that I had to offer in today's session. If there are any questions, I will be happy to answer if there are any questions. And at the same time, I want to throw open some avenues where you can become trainers, where you can actually explore and you can become trainers in these domains. Yes, Nilanjan Mukherjee ji, any question to you?
No, sir, no question. In fact, earlier when you were saying about, have you ever witnessed anything which is not related? In the beginning of the session, you said at that point in time, I could not highlight.
Yes.
I will just take 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
6 years back, sir, I was called for a guest lecture. The topic was, so the year was 2017. And the topic was the job market in India. What will be the job market in India in 2030? So 13 years from now. And when I reached there in the institute, educational institute, I realized that the person with whom I was sharing the dais was a PhD holder from 5 different universities. And I was extremely scared, that how can I talk in front of him. But since the college invited me for this, so I prepared very well. So what I did was I read Planning Commission of India's report of 1 decade.
Great.
So after reading that, I had so many things to speak on.
Ideas.
Yeah. But that other gentleman, I was extremely scared, and he was speaking ahead of me. So when he started to speak, I thought that he will speak all my ideas, and I would not be able to utter a single word in front of him. But it was other way around. That gentleman
Great.
was a trainer, and instead of speaking about the topic for 15-20 minutes, he spoke about his organization and what was his services. I was extremely surprised to see that, and it was totally irrelevant. So, and not only that, sir, thereafter, with God grace, I have given close to 100 of guest lectures, and you will not feel, sir, you will not believe, sir, in 85% of the guest lectures, I have found that people speak irrelevant things. They,
Yeah.
they speak only those things which they know.
Yes.
We as a trainer means I would like to call upon each and everybody who is attending today's session that whenever in future we are called for a guest lecture or any kind of presentation, we must stick to the agenda. And on that day, sir, when I started to deliver my session, although I was very scared, but I had so many points, with respect to job market of 2030, that the professor, they standed and they gave standing ovation. So what I realized was that if we remain to the topic, if we do, before giving the presentation, if we do proper research planning, we understand what the topic, then we can do a wonderful job. And or else, everything will be unrelated and people will not feel good about. They will feel that their time got wasted. So this was my
Great of you. Great of you. Now that I can make out that you like to garner information and you would like to research on different things. The next time you're invited to any guest lecture, I have a small tip for you. Read McKinsey's report.
Okay.
McKinsey is a global consulting company.
Yeah.
McKinsey's report on upcoming green jobs.
Okay.
McKinsey's report on upcoming green jobs in the domain of climate change.
Okay.
These are the new emerging jobs. For instance, tomorrow's engineers will be required to come up with a product which will replace air conditioner.
Okay.
What is that product? So these are the upcoming jobs. So you can read McKinsey's report on green jobs in the domain of climate change. All the
Right,
best
sir.
for your
Right,
next
sir.
set of
I will do that.
lectures.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Sir,
Thank you so much.
We have
Yes, Shipra.
sustainability report as
I
well.
have to say
Sustainability as well.
something. Sir, I have to say something. Sir,
Yes, yes, please.
it's not related to the today's training thing. So
Yeah.
last time we talked about the sustainability and all those things. So I want your input on this e-vehicles.
E-vehicles. Okay.
So what do you feel about e-vehicles? Because I read one article yesterday and I read and I heard one video. I saw one video and I was really overwhelmed to see the in-depth information of it. So I just want your view first on this.
Yes. I have done a research on the feasibility of e-vehicles taking over the conventional fuel run vehicles, the conventional uh, vehicles running on petrol and diesel. Okay. uh, Maybe I can share that research paper with you. You can go through that. I have highlighted the possibilities of using e-vehicles, and I have also highlighted the constraints that people face, the challenges that people face as of now. For instance, since you have asked this question, though it is slightly out of experiential learning or paper 4, let me tell you, India spends uh, 3/4 majority of its revenue or majority of its currency on importing crude oil from Middle East. That is one reason that we are running into fiscal deficit from the last 30, 40, 50 years, because majority of the currency or majority of the exchequer, majority of the amount that we have with us in the currency chest, we spend it to import crude oil from Middle East and other countries. That is where we are running into, that is the reason why we are running into fiscal deficit from the last 50 years. Okay, now one advantage of using e-vehicles is, suppose we start running e-vehicles, this import that we do, the money that we give to others comes down naturally. Okay,
So the
because we,
article, yeah. So sorry to
yeah,
interrupt. The article that I read was saying that because these vehicles will run on batteries and those
yes,
will be lithium
lithium
and other
batteries,
things,
lithium
400
batteries.
times carbon will be expelled into the environment. 400 times. So it will not actually lead to the lesser pollution. In a long run, the pollution is diverted and it will lead to a lot
Yeah,
of
that
more
is,
pollution.
that is because lithium is a toxic material, and lithium is a toxic element. That's the reason that carbon emission, or in fact the ground resources will become, that is a point actually, lithium is not good for the environment. That is the
Environment.
point.
Correct.
But then I request you to analyze the implication of e-vehicles from different perspectives. One from pollution perspective, one from economic perspective. What happens to Indian economy if e-vehicles come in full fledged or come in full fray? What happens to the environment? What happens to the economy? And what are the new set of jobs that will come out? What will happen to the traditional run vehicles or manufacturing plants? So what will happen to the manufacturing sector? What will happen to economy? What will happen to environment? So I request you to study this from different perspectives so that you get an idea.
Sure, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. If you want, I can share my research paper which I have done
Indeed,
with
sir.
you for your
Would
reference.
love to read
And
it.
if you want to know more about it, there is one website which says FAME, FAME,
Okay.
Ministry of Road and Transport, FAME,
Okay, sir.
no,
Thank you.
forum for automobile manufacture, electric automobile manufacture. So that reference you can take. Okay.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir,
So
I have a few things to say here, if you
yes,
allow me.
yeah, please.
Last 2 minutes. Today we had two games. One is the float game and the story making. That was very full of fun and learning. How can we use these two methods to check the psychology for a person?
Yeah, in fact, these are psychology based exercises actually. You can get to know how every person is different and what are the repetitive postures or repetitive words that the person uses in his or her talk. Okay. Suppose you use the first one. If constantly there's explanation about animals, so somewhere there is some connection or some love for the animals. So by the way they express their views, you can make out in which area they have belongingness to or belongingness for, and then you can actually make out how does a person actually think: negative, assumption, projective. For instance, in some of the stories that people expressed, some of the stories had a tragic ending, some of the stories were aspirational, some of the stories were realistic, some of the stories were putting themselves in, so more of empathy was exhibited by majority of the storytellers today. So you can make out by the tone, by the message, by the theme that people convey.
Right. Thank you so
Have I
much.
answered your question? Have I answered your
Yeah,
question?
yes. Got it. I
Okay,
have
all
to
right.
means look for each and every word that the
Yeah,
person
you
is
have to note
using.
down. You have to note down. You should consider, and you should have a pre designed template in case you want to evaluate. Okay, the templates can be tragic, the templates can be realistic, empathetic, projective, aspirational, all this. So you try the moment you start want to make out, you see how does it begin. It begins on a flashy bright note, or it begins on a humorous note, it begins on a tragic note, so you can make out. But nonetheless, I repeat again, in social science nothing is wrong. It is just the expression of different personalities and different people, and I mean from their viewpoint. So nothing is wrong in social science.
So rather, we can say that this is a personality test, not a
You
psychological
can
test.
yes. In fact, personality is nothing but personality is made of psychology. We have our personalities, but then we all have our psychological DNA in that. We are ingrained with a lot of psychology that makes up our personality. Somebody is aggressive, somebody is docile, somebody is mild, somebody is rebellious. So we all have different traits.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So I hope today's session was
This time. So you were about to share some areas for trainers.
No, yes, I'll do that. Um, the upcoming areas of training are in the areas of simulation, which we will take up in the next session. And then one major area there where you can make a big breakaway, or what do I say? One major area where you can really get a breakthrough is improving confidence of people. In other words, this can be called as adversity quotient. What adversity quotient do people have? We know what is emotional quotient. We know what is intelligence quotient. Now it's the time to understand what is the adversity quotient, meaning what do people do when they are faced with adversity? Do they run away? Do they fight it out? Do they hang with it? Or do they overcome? Do they run along? Do they adjust? Do they put their head down and just go along? So what do they do when they are hit with adversity? If you are able to design, develop adversity question parameter, for example, intelligence, higher score, more intelligent, brilliant, genius, wisdom, wizard. Similarly, if you are able to find adversity parameters or adversity question slabs based on some research, and if you are able to take these modules to the corporate sector, to the schools or to aspiring business professionals or aspiring MBA students with this module, this is one area which people will readily accept. So you will become adversity trainers, or you will also become change makers. You will be called as catalysts. So you can term yourself as a catalyst trainer, something unexplored, because it usually happens. And for that, the tip is read the stories who have bounced back from failure. What have people done when they were in the middle of a big trouble, when they were in the rough sea? How have they bounced back? How have they jumped back to the success? How have they climbed back to the success when they were in a big crisis? So if you're able to develop this adversity questioned parameter or slabs or some modules in this area, you have the world to explore.
Sir, if I'm understanding it right, one could be like adaptation, like the world is changing so fast. So how?
World is changing, no doubt, but then what are we doing when we are hit with adversity as an individual?
How good we are at adapting new things.
For example, you come to my office, assume that you are my colleague or you are my subordinate. You come to my office tomorrow and I ridicule you. I put you down. I say you are useless. You're unfit. Right? I put you down and I send you in depression, melancholy. So how do you bounce back from there? Now your target segment or target audience will be who have been victimized.
Okay.
Who are facing depression, who are facing a mental slowdown or some sort of what do I say, uh, pressed upon people, or people who are oppressed of their self confidence, people who have lost their confidence.
Demotivated.
Yes. So that is, you can term yourself as a catalyst trainer, where you will be a catalyst to help them explore their own life. But then you need to have a different material for that. You need to have material for adversity. Please research. The world is big enough to explore, and this is the new area, because a report by WHO says more and more people are slipping into depression. And that is one major problem that the youngsters or the citizens of 21st century are facing. The 21st century is called as the era of non-communicable diseases. You are in depression, you don't communicate to everyone. And depression is something that you suffer all alone. It is not infectious, but then you lose that charm of yours, you use that X factor of yours. So, and WHO has written a report, so you can refer to that. Non-communicable disease, WHO, stress, fatigue are killing tomorrow's workforce. So do some research on this, develop some modules, and explore yourself, and jump into new avenues as trainers in this domain. So thank you very much for your patient listening in today's session. I presume that the session was useful, entertaining, engaging. You're all of you are on mute.
Yes, sir.
Sir, all your
Yes, sir.
sessions are always
Wow.
engaging, always entertaining, and always full of learning.
And
Yes,
sir,
sir.
as you mentioned in the beginning that we would feel drained. No, we are just not drained.
All right, thank you. So I've stored your energy to continue for the next half of the Sunday.
Sure, sir.
The second part of Sunday, so that you can go out, enjoy, meet friends, go out for dinner, have some good time. Okay. So
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
thank you so much. Happy Sunday ahead. Take care, and we will meet next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.